It's just kind of funny that like every single person from Steven Crowder to Donald Trump has just been mean to Candace Owens at some point in time. All right, we're gonna look at Candace Owens real quick. And then
story, and I got tons of tweets from people asking me about Steven Crowder. People were saying, you need to speak out for Steven Crowder. Candace, blink twice if you're under duress. All sorts of comments like that. And I had no idea what they were talking about. I obviously then went to Steven Crowder's YouTube page and I saw a video that he had put up, and he was discussing a company who were essentially offering him what he thought amounted to a slave contract. And it was very heavily implied throughout that the company was the Daily Wire. He said it wasn't the Blaze. He said that there were ad reads, that the company offered him a lot of money, and that he wouldn't sell out. You know, it was this super, I'm a martyr and I'm not selling out to you. And the comments reflected that, yay, Steven, you're a hero. Before I even give you my feedback, let's just hear Steven in his own words.
Big tech is in bed with Big Con. The people you thought, the people I thought were fighting for you, a lot of it has been a big con. Now, I'm specifically avoiding naming names or going after individuals in this video because I genuinely hope that those I'm addressing, and you know who you are, have a change of heart. Don't sign these contracts.
Yeah, he's working real hard, man. He's working real hard to preserve the integrity of racists, okay, that want to do racism and still work within the conservative sphere. Thank God. This guy is a real labor leader, okay? He is going to start a fucking union amongst political commentators on the conservative side with the express reason, with the express purpose of like being able to serve you top of the hour ad breaks for 3 minutes. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe.
I now know what you are signing out there. I have the luxury of not having to. Let me go through this. If any of the major platforms issues a content strike such that Crowder cannot be monetized on such platform, the fee will be reduced by 25%. And then another 20% of it happens on Apple. And then another 10% of it happens on Facebook. And then another 10% of it happens on Spotify. And then if you get a strike, meaning a suspension, another 20%. Just to drive it home. You get hit by a car, you have a sick day, you could lose $100,000 a day. This is what's sent out to everybody.
All right, so you get the gist of this. It is a super predatory contract. And like I said, he never explicitly said the Daily Wire, but it was very clear that he was talking about the Daily Wire, because how many organizations do you know are big enough to offer him, Steven Crowder, what he should, or around the range of what he should be paid, that does ad reads? Obviously, it's not going to be Fox News. It's not going to be PragerU, their 501c3, or Turning Point USA. And he mentioned explicitly that it wasn't the Blaze. So to me, it was sort of like he said, the Schmaley Schmeier, but I'm not naming any names. And I'm going to tell you two things that I thought. First and foremost, to give something a name like the Big Con, obviously, it was mudslinging. And if this was the Daily Wire, which I wasn't entirely sure that it was, but as I said, it was heavily implied, then he also threw mud on me. He threw mud on Matt Walsh. He threw mud on Michael Knowles. He threw mud on every single person, Brett Cooper, that works for Daily Wire, by implying that we are signing these contracts and he is heroic for not signing it, and pulling out excerpts of the contract to say basically we're beholden to big tech, right? And I don't like that. If you want to rev up your engine and fire up your big truck, don't get mud on my car, right? That's my thing. If you want to go to war, keep me out of it. At least say this was a contract that was offered to me. He kind of makes this plea. And again, people were just on board with it. But I will also be honest that I was a bit disturbed. Like I said, heavy accusations that this is how the contract should be handled. This would mean and imply that I was working for an organization that is not acting in the capacity of how I would like them to act, right? Or acting in good faith toward the talent, and it felt predatory. So the first thing that I did was I reached out to executives here and was like, what is this? Are you guys going to respond to this? I want to know whether or not you're actually treating people poorly behind the scenes, because it matters to me. It's always mattered to me, okay? You can speak to any organization that's ever worked with me. I have a very good reputation. I maintain friendships with everybody. I do. I don't personally know Steven Crowder. To be honest, the first time I ever had any correspondence with him, he was a bit of a dick to me. You can bleep that out, whatever. But he offered me online to come on the show. I said yes. And an hour later, he lied and said that I canceled, and I never did. And then he corrected it and said, oh, we got confused. And I just thought that's pretty crappy that you publicly tweeted. At the time, I think he had more followers than me, that I canceled on your show and I never did. But anyways, I never met him in person. And I think he's tremendously talented. And I laughed all the way through his election night coverage. So I didn't really have a horse in this race. And I wanted the Daily Wire to respond.
It's just kind of funny that like every single person from Steven Crowder to Donald Trump has just been mean to Candace Owens at some point in time. I really want them to address the 20% shit because I want them to admit that they're trying to rein with him in with the racism. My friend, spoiler alert, but Jeremy Boring in the video that we watched last night very openly admitted that. Like he very clearly said, we love your racism. We love your like piss off YouTube segment. It's fucking fire. The problem is you know what not to say. You can say whatever you want behind the paywall, but you know what not to say in front of the paywall so you don't get banned. Verbatim. I'm not joking. I'm not even fucking paraphrasing, okay? He so clearly and so openly stated that. If everyone has been mean to you in every first interaction, maybe that says something about you. To be honest, though, it could be two things. It could be because Candace Owens is fucking annoying, okay? Sure. But it could also be because, like, everyone that she's surrounded himself with are fucking racist. And raging racist misogynists. So, like, yeah. So that could probably be another reason why they're just like fucking annoyed by her existence on top of everything else.
To it. I said, you have to respond to this. This makes us all look guilty. People are now thinking I signed a contract with this, like I sold my soul to the devil. This is the implication here. So Jeremy Boring, the co-CEO of Daily Wire, did in fact
probably a bit of both.
Give a response, actually a thorough response, a 1-hour response last night, which I watched later than my bedtime, I would say. And he went through the contract that they offered Stephen line by line. Again, it was an hour long, so I absolutely cannot play it right now. It would cover the entire show, but you should take the time and you should watch it because he adds clarity and he expands. He goes through the entire contract. There could not have been more transparency. He goes through the entire contract that was offered, and it allows people to actually discern what really went down. And what really went down, according to Jeremy, and I'm very interested to see what Stephen's response is that Stephen became a free agent. He left the Blaze. The Daily Wire offered him a contract, a huge contract, by the way, $50 million they offered him. First, they said, we won't even talk unless you offer a big amount. But Daily Wire came back and offered $50 million. And then Stephen's agent wrote back that they wanted $120 million. So basically, you wanted $120 million over the span of 4 years, which, by the way, pretty unrelatable. Okay, this was last year. I think Jeremy said this all went down in September of last year. And then Jeremy went back and said that there was no way that they could afford that. Months passed, and I don't know, Steven Crowder, New Year, New Me, popped up in January and was like, actually, it's New Year, it's New Me, and F you, Daily Wire. I'm not okay with the fact that you even offered me this contract in the first place. By the way, it was a term sheet, not a contract, okay? So Steven Crowder is relying on the ignorance of people who don't know how business work, okay? Who don't understand that this is how it works. They put an initial offer on the table, and then what happens is you go get your lawyers, and they go over every single line, okay? So my contract with the Daily Wire took us 5 months to negotiate. Lawyers going over every single line. They got me a term sheet. I said, no way to this. Here's what
they are almost like literally saying the exact same shit. Like, I don't think that they're trained and coached to saying this, but it certainly feels that way because of how consistent they have been. It's awesome. It's so awesome. This is just awesome. I can't stop appreciating and enjoying the backlash and all this drama, especially as it pertains to like conservatives complaining about like the starting spark of this being a very famous anti-worker conservative complaining about worker rights, labor protections, as it pertains to like protections over being able to say racist shit without scrutiny. And also ends with him saying that a $50 million contract is slave labor. It's so good. It's like a perfect demonstration of every single thing that we say.
What I'm saying, they say, no way to this. And then I say, no, and you go back and forth. And this is just business negotiations. It's nothing personal, okay? And of course, if I did not believe in something that I was signing or I thought it was disadvantageous, we talk it out. And they explain their logic, and I explain my logic and what my fears are. This is totally normal in the capacity of contracts everywhere signed. And yet, by removing some crucial information in his initial video, and like I said, I felt the same way as people that watched it at first, it made it seem as though the Daily Wire was just trying to enslave Steven Crowder. It's just not fair what Steven Crowder did. I think that honestly, he was acting a bit like a child actor. And I think it's incredibly immature to not give people all of the information up front, right?
What's Crowder's exit ramp? There's no way he has a better deal lined up. And there's no way to the publicity from this is worth 50 mil. It's not. I think he realized that he just wanted to be independent and not work with like The Blaze or not work with the Daily Wire. Not work with a larger conservative media conglomerate that will like offer him a contract on top of the money that he's making, which is what he's used to, so that he can maintain his own like email list. I think that a big part of this argument, this back and forth, revolves around email lists and data that you can eventually sell to conservative campaigns. Because like, if you have a fat email list, dude, if you have a fat email list full of fucking idiots, okay, full of the dumbest people on the planet that are like willing and able to go and shoot up schools or shoot up the Walmart or go and shoot up the ballot box, I guess, literally and figuratively, that's valuable to Republican operatives. That's like, at least at the minimum, it's like 500 grand, 250 grand a pop for each individual campaign. That is going to generate a lot of revenue for Steven Crowder. Do streamers have an email list of all their subs? No, I don't. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
To refuse to name specific...
What the fuck is a streamer going to do with their subs, dude?
Names and to therefore sling mud onto every single person. And it's egocentric, right? It's going, this was my experience, and therefore it must be everybody else.
No, it's about the ownership of the IP, because in the contract they would all go to DW. Yeah, I mean, that's another component of it too, but I do think that the email list is like the main reason why he's doing what he's doing now.
Else's experience. And so I'm going to be the hero by saying that everyone's under duress and you can come to me so I can start my own company. At the end of the day, I think what happened, this is completely my opinion, by the way, so I'm not blinking twice, I'm not under duress, is that Steven Crowder became a free agent and he's feeling a little vulnerable right now. Right? He's used to working for other organizations. He has some guaranteed pay. And he thought that Daily Wire were actually going to meet him at $120 million. They didn't. They declined. And he's still feeling a little shaky on that. It's scary to go out on your own. I thought about it. I thought about going out on my own. It's a lot of work. Maybe down the line I will. But it's a scary thing to go out, to step out on your own and say, I'm going to do this thing completely by myself. As Jeremy pointed out, Steven's not done that before, right? And so to do this, he pulled a move in which he was going to try to take a bunch of people that were subscribed to the Daily Wire and start his own company. So essentially saying, I'm the hero, I'm the martyr, follow me because I'm not like those guys. And then he was going to start his own shop. And that's what he's trying to do. And some people fell for it and said, I'm with you to the end, I'm Mug Club till I die, and didn't understand that really nothing happened here other than nobody wanted to pay Steven Crowder $120 million. So he turned to his viewers, who he thinks are stupid enough at least not to understand how business negotiations work, right? Like, this is like normal. You kick it back and forth. And they were going to make up for his loss. So people that are upset by his video, the millions of people who watched it, are now going to give him $1, whatever it costs to be in the Mug Club. And they're going to become the $120 million that he feels that he deserves. First of all, I'm just going to say this, unrelatable. Unrelatable. People are trying to pay for bacon and eggs right now at the grocery store, trying to buy a steak once a week. And you're over here crying because somebody couldn't meet you at $120 million. And it is crying. I don't like it. It was a total bitch move. There are plenty of things that happen across all organizations in the conservative movement where I will say that I empathize with Steven Crowder and saying that sometimes you feel like a cynic, which is like, is everybody selling out? Are people doing this, people doing that? There are a lot of things that Daily Wire has done that I disagree with. There's a lot of things that Turning Point has done that I disagree with. There are things perhaps that PragerU has done that I disagree with. I have worked with all of these companies, right? But to do a total bitch move and go out to the public rather than trying to resolve these things and these slight differences behind the scenes, and to make it seem like you're the hero and you're the true one and you keep it authentic when something really nothing happened other than you didn't like an initial term sheet and all you had to do was tell them that and tell them what you didn't like and go back and forth with lawyers like everybody else. I think it's crappy. I think Steven is a little egocentric. He probably will do better on his own. I don't think he knows how to plan a team. And by the way, the last thing I'm going to say, because I'm going on Tim Pool's tonight, so I'm going to say it anyways later, is that I'm pretty sure, wasn't it Steven Crowder who also screwed over somebody he used to work with? Was it not Gay Jared?
This part is fucking spicy. This is a dagger. Candace Owens is she's not holding back. She's like, bitch, you got skeletons in your closet. You better shut the fuck up. I love this, dude. God, it's so good. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. Oh my Lord, it's so good. What is the Not Gay Jared story? I have no idea. But Steven Crowder used to have a dude called Not Gay Jared. In his ranks. Oh, Jared said, for what it's worth, it should be noted that I resigned from Louder with Crowder via written 2-week notice on July 2018. I was not fired or dismissed from my role, nor was I forced out of the company in any way. My departure was 100% my decision. Why I decided to leave so abruptly is a different story, but it was my personal decision. What the fuck is this website, bro? tuco.co.ke. What happened? Not Gay Jared. Here's everything. No. Distractify. What the fuck are these articles, man? I think it was wage theft, right? Basic stuff. As a right-wing commentator, media personality, Jared voiced opinions like topics on gay privilege during his appearances. In an infamous episode, he and Steven ventured so far as to hit up an Antifa protest with the hope of exposing some of the secret tactics and strategies of the radical left-wing moves. During his time, Louder with Crowder, Jared became involved in various sketches and talk show style discussions. I'm passing the torch, Jared announced. A very not gay Jared farewell. Reportedly, he left the show because he and his partner were expecting a baby. He left because he's having a kid, wrote a Redditor. Wow, what an article, dude. I heard that Jared had gone full 1488, pondered another person. According to some rumors circulating on social media, it might have had something to do with the long-standing financial difficulties the show was facing. Several cast members weren't paid on time. Some, like Sven Computer, were reported to be owed as much as $10,000. Apparently, he owes someone named Sven Computer $10K in unpaid wages. It's been tearing the team apart. Not an endorsement of Owen Benjamin, one person tweeted. I don't know. When Jared left, Crowder prevented Jared from getting a job at CRTV or another job in comedy. I don't know if this is true or not, but Sven tweeted out a bear emoji. Owen talked about Crowder owing Sven money, and Jared liked the tweet. Many people think that could be Sven and Jared's way of confirming what Owen said, since they can't outright discuss issues with Crowder because of NDA. If you build a server base in a third world country to only watch your channel, could you farm views? I don't fucking know. I don't want to know this much. I don't want to know this much about Steven Crowder's work.